Imagine a world you've never seen before. A wild, unfamiliar, and mysterious land. 4 million years ago, when the continents hadn't yet fully formed, and the sky wasn't yet lit up like it is today. Something was happening, something history books don't teach. And you wouldn't believe it. Underneath the dry soil of Africa, hidden traces baffle scientists. Strange footprints, mysterious symbols, and metal fragments that shouldn't have ever existed. Was this the work of an ancient being? Or was there something much older, more intelligent, silently observing us? This story isn't just time travel. It's a profound secret buried beneath the earth, only now being revealed bit by bit. If you're curious and enjoy stories like this, don't forget to leave your own theories in the comments below. Do you think this is pure history? Or is there something bigger behind it? 4 million years ago, the Earth was in a state unimaginable to modern humans. The continents hadn't fully formed yet, and the world's coastlines were very different from what we see on maps today. In a vast area now known as East Africa, something was happening that slowly but surely changed the course of life on the planet. At that time, the climate began to undergo drastic changes. Dense jungles slowly gave way to open savannas. Rainfall that had once been regular became rare and unpredictable. Dry winds blew dust from the drying land. The Earth's temperature slowly rose, creating unprecedented ecological tensions. Behind these profound changes, a group of living creatures began to adapt. They walked upright, slowly abandoning their tree-dwelling habits. Their leg bones began to change, and their fingers no longer gripped branches, but instead grasped rocks and twigs. They weren't humans, but they weren't animals as we know them either. They were the beginning of something profound. Something that would change Earth's history forever. Their name didn't exist yet, but scientists today call them Australopithecus afarensis. These creatures were living witnesses to the most important transition in the history of life on Earth. But why did they appear where they were? What caused a particular region to become the epicenter of such profound evolutionary change? Underneath the now barren land, hidden layers of secrets hold clues to that era. Active volcanism in the region created a strange landscape, full of ravines and valleys. Eruptions created hot lava that covered vast areas, but also fertilized the soil over time. But something even stranger. Among the remains of ancient creatures unearthed by researchers, they found objects that shouldn't have existed at that time. Pieces of stone that appeared to have been deliberately carved. Small oxidized fragments of metal objects. Scientists are puzzled. Were these truly the work of ancient creatures? Or was there something more mysterious lurking beneath the surface of history? Time passed slowly in that era. But with each second, the Earth sculpted its destiny. A large predator lurks in the bushes, while a young Australopithecus gazes at the horizon with curious eyes. Little does he know that his small step that day will lead humanity to a new chapter. But he senses something big is happening, and that something has only just begun. In the now silent and forgotten highlands, thousands of years ago, this land once rumbled with the first steps of creatures that would change the future of the Earth. Layers of volcanic ash deposited by ancient volcanic eruptions held something astonishing. When rain fell on the hot soil and then dried, small footprints formed. But these prints were different. They were neatly arranged, feet to feet, right, as if their owner were walking consciously, not like an animal. Years passed until finally, in the 20th century, the footprints were discovered by a team of researchers. They called them the Litoli footprints. But what left scientists speechless wasn't just the shape of the feet. Next to those prints, there was another, larger, deeper, but not an animal's, not even a human's. The prints were too symmetrical, too clean, as if created by something other than the ancient world. Scientists unanimously dismissed them. They called them a geological anomaly. But not a young researcher named Dr. Said, a man who dedicated his life to the mystery of ancient footprints. He didn't believe they were simply a natural phenomenon. Every night he sat in the middle of the expedition tent, reviewing the scans, examining the curves of the tracks in the dim light. A pattern lingered in his mind, continued to haunt his thoughts. Suddenly, a small earthquake shook the area. This wasn't unusual in a plane where tectonic activity persisted. But this earthquake had revealed something. A small crack in the hardened lava rock. The crack emitted warm air. And the smell of burning metal. Dr. Saeed called his team, and together they began digging. The deeper they went, the more bizarre the structure they discovered. The rock walls had transformed into symmetrical patterns, as if engraved. There were shapes resembling letters or symbols, but not from any human language. The light from their flashlights reflected off the bluish-black metal surface, embedded firmly beneath the rock that must have been millions of years old. Impossible. Metal technology. In an ancient age. Saeed realized that this wasn't just an archaeological discovery. It was a clue. Message. But from whom? And why was it buried so deep? That night, the wind blew colder than usual. The sky over Tanzania was pitch black, starless. And amidst the silence, a strange sound. Like a subtle humming from deep within the earth. No one dared approach the crevice again that night. But one thing was certain. Whatever was buried beneath this ground didn't want to be discovered too soon. Dawn slowly broke over the eastern horizon. The sky was a deep red, as if the earth knew it would be a different day. At the expedition camp, an eerie silence reigned. Dr. Saeed and his team hadn't slept. They remained on guard, not daring to leave the mysterious crack that had been emitting strange sounds from deep within the earth the night before. That morning they decided to continue digging. But something had changed. The ground that had been exposed the night before was now covered again by a slab of rock that looked new. No cracks, no gaps, as if it had never been opened at all. Dr. Saeed stared at it for a long moment. He knew this wasn't an illusion. They had all seen the crack. They had heard the sounds coming from it. But now it was all gone. It was as if the earth was covering its own wound. Or hiding something. Amidst his despair, however, Saeed noticed something on his hand. A small, bluish flake of metal had stuck to his glove since the night before. He took it to a nearby laboratory for analysis. The results were shocking. The metal had an atomic composition unknown to the periodic table. Harder than titanium, lighter than aluminum, and exhibiting electromagnetic reactions that cannot be explained by modern physics. Scientists call it an unspecified element. However, Saeed calls it by another name, the guardian of the earth. He believed that long ago, when the earth was young and uninhabited, there was an intelligence that either came from outside or emerged from within the earth itself. They weren't human, but they observed, recorded, and shaped the earth's conditions for a future that hadn't yet arrived. These beings or entities left traces, not to be found, but to warn. And when climate change occurred millions of years ago, when life began to shift course, they might reappear. To ensure everything went according to plan. Now Saeed was the sole keeper of that secret. He didn't reveal his discovery to the world. No press conferences. No journal publications. He simply kept the small metal in a secret room, waiting for the time when the world was ready to know the truth. And the world wasn't ready. Because the truth about what happened on Earth 4 million years ago wasn't just history. It was part of a grand plan that, to this day, was still unfolding.